So Logan Allen, Major League debut Sunday, comes up a quality start, gets a win in his first Major League start. Guardians may be dipping into that young, really good starting pitching again. James Harris talked about the Guardians' young pitching and the next couple guys, getting them ready.
Go back in our history, you look at guys like Please Zach didn't spend a lot of time at AAA, but you like to kind of see a little bit of AAA. There's some advanced hitters, whether that be young guys in AAA that have worked up there or guys who have bounced back from the major league level. You kind of want to see guys in those environments, see if their pitches are working there, how they respond to that. You hope to get them at the AAA level and see what they can do. They know that they're good enough. They're going to get their shot. So it's not a matter of how many guys they strike out on a Thursday night. It's more of like, what do their throwing program look like? What does their prep work look like? What does their preparation look like? What does the relationship with their catchers look like? And can you attack our plan for the night and see how that all plays out? So it's less about like, will I get a chance? It's like, I will get my chance. Will I be prepared when I do get it?
And again, talking about Gavin Williams, who is at AA Akron, as well as Tanner Bybee at AAA Columbus. And Zach, the Guardians haven't named a starter for tomorrow afternoon's game. Could be coming. But if it is Tanner Bybee, who had his start in Columbus pushback, he was supposed to start tonight. He won't be making that start. Daniel Norris will. They need to make a 40-man roster move. So what are some of the things that go into deciding, is it now Tanner Bybee, who's pitched really well at AAA, just like Logan Allen has?
It's funny. Everybody wants the top prospect to get that call, right? It doesn't matter when it is. It doesn't matter how many top prospects have already gotten the call. Everybody's already ready for the next guy. And the funny part is, a lot of times it's not up to the player themselves to state their case and to prove that they're ready. It's things like a rainout and a doubleheader and or an injury. I mean, a lot of times it's something else that dictates whether someone gets that call or not. So the doubleheaders recently have certainly forced the team's hand, and I think Logan Allen was ready anyway because he had pitched at AAA for half the season last year. And the big thing that they like to see how guys rebound after facing some adversity, after struggling for a little while. And he got to AAA last year, and he had never had a bad start in the minor leagues. I mean, he breezed through the system. Big part of that just always being able to throw strikes, having great command. And he finally faced some adversity at AAA, and they kind of liked that because then it made him work harder this offseason, came back, had 3 great starts there to start the year, and then he came up and looked excellent in his debut. Tanner Bybee is interesting because he's sort of along that Logan Allen path where he came quick and he hasn't really had much adversity to face. And this is a kid who was throwing 90 miles an hour in college and now throws 98 and has really good secondary stuff. And another one of those Cleveland pitchers with great command. So, it's tough. I don't know that when the season started, they said, all right, let's hope that Tanner Bybee's up in late April. But a lot of times it's out of your control, and you have to prepare for those sorts of opportunities to pop up. And I think more than anything, you need the player to prepare for that to happen, where you have to go into a season, if you're at AA or AAA, knowing this could be the year you get your shot, and you have to stay focused and do what you can do wherever you are at the moment. But we saw 17 rookies debut last season. So I think in this organization, top to bottom, everybody knows they won't be afraid to call you up when the time is right.
And Bybee is a guy at AAA. He's 2-0, 1.76 ERA, 15 1/3 innings pitched, 19 strikeouts, 151 average against, batting average against. So he is really pitching well and effectively. The question becomes, the 40-man roster spot. You'd have to. And what that means, if people aren't familiar with it, you have to expose somebody to get claimed by another organization to create a spot on that 40-man roster, be it one of the catchers, a pitcher that, like a Connor Pilkington, somebody like that. And those are moves that this organization doesn't want to make before they're ready to make.
It can be a mess. And when you have as young of a team as they have, becomes more difficult because you have prospects on that 40-man roster who aren't yet in the major leagues, but you don't want to cut ties yet. You don't want to expose them and let another team claim them. So it makes things tricky. I don't think the three catcher experiment is going to last until September. I think that's on borrowed time. I think Mabrice Valoria has like 20 innings caught this season and only a handful of at bats. So that's an option. It's tough because it's April and there are going to be more moves, and every move you make is something that could come back you might regret later on. And you just have to have that forward thinking and sort of try to decide, like, if Tanner Bybee's the guy, Logan Allen is up, you have to, those guys are all of a sudden your 6th, 7th starters when Tristan McKenzie and Aaron Savali come back from injury too. You have to think about it like that. So how many starting pitchers do you want to devote a 40-man roster spot to? How many catchers? I mean, we saw Brian Lavastida, who had a really good 2021 and broke camp with the major league roster a year ago. And he was designated for assignment the other day to clear a spot for Logan Allen. So some tough decisions come from these things, and it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of headaches, I think.